Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the My GBC podcast. I hope that you're all doing well and enjoying your semester so far. So, today we are going to have a fairly special episode. We are going to answer some of the questions that you have asked from us. So, what happened was that a while ago we posted a question to our main George Brown Instagram account and asked, what do you guys want to know? What do you want to learn more about? Anything about George Brown College, and we received a lot of questions. So thank you so much for sending those over. And today I am here with our producer, Claire, and we're going to answer to some of those questions. So hi, Claire, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
I am good too. I am excited to see. I have seen the questions, but we're going to respond to them. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so let's get started.
Yeah, also, just as a note, we did receive many questions and we're not able to answer all of them right away
Yeah.
because some of them require some research and like emailing different program coordinators or the registrar's office, things like that. So we found answers to, I'd say, over half of them, and we will answer those today, and then we will answer the rest of them in another episode later. So if you don't have your question answered in this episode, stay tuned for another episode.
Yeah, and there was a lot of like repetition in questions, so you might find like a paraphrased version of your question. So make sure just you're listening to all of them to see if they respond to the question that you asked. Okay, so let's get started. We are going to start with some questions that you had about different programs and information about the programs. So the first question that we had was somebody asked that they needed to know more about the digital marketing program. And we actually had another question, which was very similar, and they wanted to just basically know about their courses and their program. So we mixed up these two questions and basically how you can find these kind of general informations about your program and your courses that on the main website of our George Brown College. You can find course descriptions by selecting programs on the top. There is a blue menu bar that you can find, and you can just like select the program finder from the drop-down menu. And that's where you can find all the information. And when you open your program webpage, then you will see there is a section that has like courses. So you can find all the courses that you need to take as a part of that program. And all the detail about it is basically in the program webpage. And if you know the name of the program that you're interested in, if you just like search in Google or in whatever browser that you use, this program, whatever it is called, George Brown College, it definitely comes up. So that's an easier way of finding it without going through the program finder. And if you want to ask specific questions about a certain program, you can either navigate to the contact option at the top of each individual program page, or if you're back on the main page of the GBC website, you can choose contact from the very top black menu bar and select center and school directory from the drop-down menu for more program email contacts. So yeah, these are basically two different ways where you can find more information about your programs.
Awesome. Yeah, and another question that we got was, what is student life like for someone having a major in architecture technology? And I love that someone asked this question because we actually did an entire My GBC podcast episode where we interviewed an architecture technology student. So that was our season 6, episode 7 episode. um, it's 20 minutes long. It's an interview with this student, and it talks about how she bridged from the 2-year architecture technician program into the 3-year architecture technology program. And she talks about things like, well, those options for bridging. She talks about core courses in the program, examples of assignments and projects, how to prioritize projects and time management, how the co-op works, and finding opportunities to learn and make connections with other students as well, and also her thoughts about jobs, careers, and further studies after graduation. So yeah, that if you want to get a sense of what it's like being an architecture technology student, I would definitely recommend listening to that episode.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one of the program related episodes that we did. We are trying to do one for all the programs, but as you know, we have many programs, so we're still in the process of recording a lot of those episodes. So yeah, check whatever episodes that we have and you might find the program that you are interested in.
Yeah, we might have already covered that exact program.
Yeah, and if not, stay tuned. We'll definitely try to make it happen in the near future.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, and so we had another question. How do I attend my online class? Will they send me the link for Zoom or how do I do it? Basically. So yes, if you have an online class, your professor will definitely provide you with the information about how you can join the class. Different professors have different preferences. If they have an online class, usually I would say they would host the class on Zoom. If not, I have actually personally had professors that preferred having it over Microsoft Teams. But usually how it happens is that they ask students what their preference is and they choose one. But regardless, you have access to Zoom and Microsoft Teams for free anyway. So it's just a matter of checking your email or your D12 or Brightspace, if you call it that way, to read the professor's announcements, or if they sent you an email, their email, to make sure that you know where the class is going to happen before the first session that you're going to have. But yeah, it's no worries about these stuff. Like your professor is definitely going to communicate with you how you're supposed to do everything. And feel free to ask them any questions you have about the program, the course, or whatever. They are usually very nice people. So why not?
For sure. So we had a lot of questions kind of regarding where or what things are on campus and also just like life as a student and maybe some like socializing options or things like that. So I'll start with someone asked, is there any discount for parking with my semestral payment? So unfortunately, no. From what we found, there's no actual discount for parking if you're a student. There are lots of parking options around each campus, and those are listed on the georgebrown.ca website. So if you just type parking into the search bar, and you can also, if you need more detailed information, you can ask the Ask George bot that can answer your questions in a bit more detail as well. But yeah, long story short, there's no discount for parking for students, unfortunately. But also keep in mind, like George Brown is in the center of Toronto, so public transit is like the best way to get to class. But you know, if you got to park, there are parking lots also available all around the city and close to campus as well. And those are listed on the website.
For sure. Yeah. There are parking spots available. You have to just find them if you really want to pay. But if not, there's, as you said, one right under most of our buildings, I would say. So the next question that we had was our student life team. So how to join the GBC student life. I assumed that this was about like how you can join them as a team member, but basically the student life team, it's a department, I would also say, at George Brown College offers events, activities, and opportunities which promote learning, growth, and connection. And they offer weekly tips through social media, like best spots to eat around St. James campus and regular events like board game nights and ice skating outings, everything that they do, they post about it. So you can find more information about them at, basically there's a section called Student Life at George Brown College website. So if you just search it up in your browser, it will come up, or they have an Instagram account as well. So you can go follow them. It's at gbc.studentlife. So feel free to go ahead and follow them. And yes, if you meant how to join as like member, like as an employee, they do always have student employees working with them. And how it happens is that they always post about it on their Instagram if they have any openings. But if generally you want to apply for any jobs on campus, you have to go to the GB Careers website. That's where all the on-campus jobs and a lot of off-campus jobs actually are posted. So you can apply to them there. They also actually do have this program called the Volunteer Squad. And what it is that I've seen a lot of students actually help the student life team as volunteers during the orientation events or whatever that we have going on. It's a very fun activity and it's really nice for people if you want to just like meet different people, make friends, all of that. I've seen a lot of people finding really great friends through that program. And actually a lot of those people end up getting jobs at student life just because, you know, the people who are hiring students for student life would get to know you better and they would know that you are interested in this position. So that's basically a great way of introducing yourself to them. We had another question about different places where you can study near St. James campus. I don't have classes on St. James campus, but I have been there a few times. So based on my knowledge, besides the campus library that is within the St. James campus, there are different options that you have to study. So first of all, besides the library, there are different spots where there's couches, there's tables and chairs, whatever, where you can sit down and study. Feel free to just choose wherever you want within the campus. But keep in mind that St. James campus is within the heart of downtown. So there is a lot of stores, a lot of restaurants and coffee shops in the area. So if you're one of those people who feel more focused studying in a coffee shop, just check around the campus and whatever suits you the best, you can go ahead and go there. But honestly, there's so many options. It's not like I can name them. There are so many different coffee shops around St. James campus. But my personal favorite is if you are up for walking for maybe 10-15 minutes away from the St. James campus, you can actually walk up to our other campus, which is the waterfront campus, 51 Dockside. And there is this very beautiful library space that we have. And because it's along the water, you can actually see the water as you're sitting down and studying. So it's a very nice place. It's very quiet. It's a library, obviously. So I definitely suggest that you check that out if you are okay with walking a little bit. So yeah, that's for study spaces.
Yeah, I would say that's the ideal spot to study is that waterfront one because it's just a huge glass window looking out onto the lake. It's pretty, helps to sort of calm and focus the mind, probably, right?
Yeah, and we have computers there if you need, as well as there's a 3D printer. There is just normal printers as well. And if you want to talk probably louder and you need to work with a group, there are rooms with actually, I think they allow 8 people, up to 8 people in each room. And you can book them for studying if you want to work in a team or something like that.
Nice. That's great to know. Also, I was just looking up Toronto public libraries just in case there's any options for that around the campuses. And there is one kind of between St. James and Waterfront campus. There's a Toronto Public Library at Sherbourne and Front. And I'm just putting that out there because cafes are great and they do fit into the category of cute places to study for sure. But you have to buy something while you're there. And a Toronto Public Library is kind of one of the only public spaces you can enter without having to buy something. Which is great. So there is a public library at Sherbourne in Front as well as an option.
Perfect. So there you go. You have 2 free options, and if you're willing to pay, there are the coffee shops as well.
And sometimes that coffee or cappuccino or whatever can be just the motivation that you need to study. So
yeah,
that's good too.
For sure.
Okay, next question was, can students eat in the hallways each floor? I wasn't quite sure about this, but I thought about my experience as a student at George Brown and I said, well, I did it. So yeah, I would say the only thing is, like any public place, don't leave your garbage around. If you have wrappers or whatever from the food you're eating, just put that in the garbage. There's always garbage cans available and in the vicinity of wherever you are on campus. So just look for that and throw out your wrappers and you should be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say the same thing as a current student. I don't personally actually eat a lot at school, but I always see people sitting down in different places eating, so it's totally fine. And we also have microwaves in different floors usually. So I think that's also a sign allowing you to be you can probably warm up your food, and I'm assuming they expect you to eat there as well. So it's definitely fine that you would do that. The next question is, why don't you promote athletics as much as you promote the other departments? That's a great question. There's no specific reason for that. Basically, how it happens is that the athletic center, they do have their own Instagram. So most of the promotion is kind of supposed to happen through their own Instagram because just the GBC, the main account, they have so many things going around that they might not have enough time to promote all the departments and programs and services and facilities that we have. But if you're interested in learning more about them, you can definitely follow their own Instagram. But we actually did have a podcast episode about the athletic center at GBC, and we had an interview with two of the George Brown athletes. So make sure to check it out. It's the season 4, episode number 7. So yeah, if you're interested, go ahead and listen to that so you can learn more about our athletic centers.
Yeah, and if you do want to follow the athletics Instagram account, it's at GBC Huskies. So the next question was, do we have parties? Now this is a very open-ended. I don't know if this person was asking like, are there parties organized by the college, or were they just like,
I would
do
assume
George
so.
Brown students get together and party? Yeah. So yeah, it's probably asking about whether it's organized by the college. And yeah, for sure. The student association is always a good place to go if you're looking for events and parties. So they do things like paint nights, Diwali celebrations, casino nights, and more. So you can check them out at www.studentassociation.ca, or on Instagram, they're at SAGBC. And also Student Life hosts similar events as well. So Student Life has like improv comedy nights. They do holiday parties on campus, and yeah, lots of social events for sure. So they're at gbc.studentlife, which I think we mentioned earlier as well. So yeah, there are parties organized by on-campus groups for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, besides like the paint nights and casino night and all that, which are pretty fun, there is like literal parties as well, if that's what you're looking for. So we have like, I remember actually there's like, I think they have one every semester, if I'm not wrong, or like every year. There's like they usually rent out a cruise.
Oh yeah,
The
the boat
student
cruise.
association, yeah, a boat cruise,
Yeah.
and they have a massive party. Like I have never been. I've seen the videos and it looks like a giant party, which is like
Yeah.
really interesting.
And it's on a boat. It's on one of those boats that's comes
Yeah,
into the harbor of Toronto, right?
exactly. Yeah, it's one of those. Generally, like student association, I like literally call them the party people. They do organize a lot of
Yeah.
parties and stuff. So yeah, if you're interested, definitely connect with those people because they have a lot that
Yeah.
goes on every year. The next question we have is more sporty, which is how can I join the volleyball games or the team? I would assume that's what they were asking. So GBC Huskies, they do have volleyball as a part of their varsity sports. So you would have to try out. I would assume that you would have to like do a test basically to get in. And you can check out the Athletic Center's website, which is www. Did I say 3 W's or 4? 3 W's.
Yes.
athletics.georgebrown.ca, and you can find information under the varsity tab in a top menu, so you can join them. But I would assume like even if you're not a part of the team, you have the option of always creating a team yourself and playing with your friends if you don't want to like professionally play volleyball. So yeah, that's some of the options that you have. Now we have a question about badminton as well.
So when will the trial be for badminton? So I guess that, yeah, they're asking when will the tryouts be for badminton? So basically same answer. You'd have to go to the athletics.georgebrown.ca website, and it's listed under varsity sports. So there is a tryout, and you can find out more information under the varsity tabs on that website. And then I think that volleyball and badminton are also available as like drop-in sports in the gym, but I'll let Ponta answer the next question about the gym.
Yes, so the next question is a question that I've heard like a lot from different students. My classmates were actually asking the same question a few days ago, but it is at if we have a gym in the different campuses at George Brown College. So the answer is yes. Athletic centers, or basically the gyms, at the St. James campus and Casaloma campus each include a fitness center and a single gymnasium, fitness studio, locker rooms, and change rooms with private showers and private changing stalls. And a variety of drop-in sports activities are offered in our gymnasiums during designated open gym times, including soccer, basketball, cricket, badminton, pickleball, volleyball, and others. So note that athletic footwear must be worn in the gymnasium at all times and boots are not permitted. So if you are planning on working out maybe after class, before class or something, just make sure that you have the proper footwear with you. So that's for the St. James campus and Casaloma campus that I mentioned, because before we actually did not have a gym at our waterfront campus, but now we do have a gym at our waterfront campus as well.
Oh,
Yes,
okay. I
and
did not know
it's
this.
in the 51 Dockside building. So yeah, whatever.
Have you been to
So
it?
I have been. We actually, when I was a part of the orientation team, we made a series of like posts and reels about them. So we did visit it. It seems like a full-on gym. They have like changing rooms, showers. They have a fitness studio, as well as ping pong tables, and there were a
Hmm.
bunch of things that I don't actually remember, but there were a lot of things. So
Oh,
um,
okay. That's
yeah,
awesome.
you can now work out in all of the campuses that we have. And
Nice.
if you want to know more about like the hours, the location, and more info, you can again check out their website, the Athletic Center's website, which is www.athletics.georgebrown.ca. And also don't forget to check out their Instagram, which as we mentioned before, it's at GBC Huskies. So yeah.
Okay. So the last question is kind of a big answer. It's about how to get transit passes for students. And this is a little complicated because Toronto's transit system is not very well designed for students, but there are options. So you have Toronto Transit Commission, TTC, which is all the subways and trains and streetcars and buses within the city. And then you have GO Transit, which is the more regional train transit into the city.
Mhm.
A Presto card is used for both the TTC and for GO Transit. So say you want a TTC monthly pass and money on your Presto card to use the GO train services. You can have both a monthly pass and a money balance on your Presto card at the same time. So first of all, in order to get a TTC student monthly pass, you need to be enrolled in a full-time degree or diploma program. And I'll just to give you a sense of whether this is worth it for you to get the TTC student monthly pass or to just go with a regular one. So a regular adult pass is $156 a month, and a student adult pass is $128.15 a month. So like one fare on the TTC is $3.30. So you can kind of do the math and decide, am I going to use transit often enough? And am I going to take enough rides that it will be worth it to buy a student monthly pass for $128.15 versus a regular adult pass of $156 a month? So I'll let you do the math on that based on your own movements throughout the city. So the first step is getting a TTC post-secondary photo ID, which you can do at Bathurst Station, and also getting a Presto card if you don't have one already, which you can do by buying one from any vending machine at any subway station. Then you need to load a post-secondary monthly TTC pass onto your Presto card by taking it to a Shoppers Drug Mart store or to the TTC Customer Service Center above Davisville Station. When you go, you have to bring with you a piece of government-issued photo ID or bring your TTC post-secondary photo ID card, which you would have gotten in the first step. So in order to use GO trains and buses, you will need a balance on your Presto card that is not just that TTC monthly pass, right? So there is a student discount for GO transit fares. You can get this by setting a concession on your Presto account, either in person or online. There's more info online at gotransit.com/en/student-savings/post-secondary-discount. Make sure to read all the steps in the step-by-step guide on this page. For instance, once you get the student ID set on your card, you have to then go back to the GO website and redeem your student ID discount as a voucher on your card. So there's a couple like finicky little steps in getting the student pass on your GO account as well. So just make sure to go to the GO Transit website and read the steps there. So basically, to use GO trains and buses and TTC transit within the city, you will need to pay for two different systems and put them both on your Presto card. This is how you pay for your fare if you want a student pass or a discount. However, it's also possible to pay for TTC rides and GO rides just by tapping your debit or credit card, but you will be charged the normal adult rates if you do it that way. So that's the difference. So basically you have to take a look at the regular adult rate fees and the student fees and see if it's worth it for you to basically go through these steps with the TTC and the steps with the GO Transit to get the student discount. So yeah, I mean, it might be worth it. Like the difference between the TTC passes is about $30 between a regular adult pass and a student pass, and that's every month. So that can make a difference. That can help you get a couple more groceries, that kind of thing. So yeah, again, a little bit confusing. There's two separate systems, but that's a basic rundown of how it works. If you have more questions, I definitely encourage you to go to the GO Transit and the TTC Transit directly if you do have more questions.
Yeah, okay. That was our last question. We actually have more questions, but we didn't
Yes.
want this episode to be too long. So we'll probably have another episode where we'll talk about registration or those kind of questions. So yeah, stay tuned for the next episodes. Besides that, thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you for asking all the questions. We hope that this was a fairly helpful episode for all of you.
Yeah, and
yeah.
if you have more questions, you can DM the George Brown Instagram account at GB College. And also, if you want to hear about a student's experience in a specific program, let us know as well by DMing the main George Brown account there, because we do usually do a monthly interview with a student from a specific program. So we want to hear what programs you all want to know more about.
For sure. And just as a reminder, we mentioned this before, but if you have more questions, you can always go to the Ask George, which is basically not a website, but it's a website like under our main George Brown website. So if you just like search Ask George Brown, you can type in your questions there and somebody will respond to you. So that's another option if you have any incoming questions. Besides that, thank you again, and we'll see you all next week. Have a great week.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.